There comes a moment when you don't need another sign, you don't need permission, you don't need to wait for the perfect timing, you just need to decide, this isn't who I want to be anymore. Starting a new life doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. It's a decision made at 3 a.m. with tired eyes and a full heart. It's a moment when you're no longer willing to carry the weight of what's been holding you back. You stop asking for things to change and start becoming the change yourself. Change begins with a decision, not a wish, not a hope, not a daydream, but a firm, conscious decision. The moment you choose to change your life is the moment the world around you begins to shift. Waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to grow, to evolve, to start over, only delays the transformation that's already waiting within you. No one is going to hand you a permission slip for greatness. That authority rests within you. Your life is your responsibility, and every day you hesitate, you surrender that power to doubt, fear, or the expectations of others. Deciding to change is a personal revolution. It means stepping out of the comfort zone that has kept you stuck. It means rejecting the idea that your current circumstances define your future. It's easy to wait for the right time, the perfect support system, the ideal moment where everything aligns. But waiting is often just fear in disguise. The right time is now. The ideal moment is the one you create. You don't need anyone to validate your desire to grow. You don't need applause to begin. You need courage, and even that doesn't have to be loud or fearless. Quiet courage is just as powerful. When you decide to change, you declare that your past no longer has the final say. You stop asking for validation and start building self-trust. The approval you once sought from others starts coming from within. That internal alignment becomes your compass. You realize that the people who truly care about you will support your evolution, and those who don't were never meant to be on the journey with you. Change clarifies your environment. It reveals who you are and what truly matters. Committing to change isn't about having it all figured out. It's about being willing to start, to take that first step into uncertainty, and to keep moving even when the road gets rough. It's about trusting that the discomfort of growth is better than the stagnation of regret. You won't always feel ready. You'll face resistance, internally and externally, but every time you act despite the fear, you build a new foundation. The act of choosing to change without waiting for permission becomes a catalyst for momentum. You begin to attract different energy. You begin to think differently, speak differently, and act in alignment with the person you are becoming. That decision reshapes your habits, your mindset, and your identity. It's no longer about fitting into the life that once felt too small. It's about expanding into the life you were always meant to live. You have more control than you think. The power to shift your story lies in your hands. Don't give that power away to circumstance, to other people's opinions, or to outdated beliefs about what's possible for you. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to outgrow who you've been. You're allowed to want more, become more, and do more. So stop waiting. Don't look around for signs. Don't keep asking if it's okay to rise. It is. Decide. Decide with your whole heart that you are worthy of a life that excites you. Decide that you no longer want to just exist. You want to live, and when you do, everything changes. Not all at once, but step by step, decision by decision. Because the life you want doesn't begin with permission. It begins with you. Letting go of the old story is one of the most powerful acts of personal freedom. It requires you to release the version of yourself that's been shaped by past pain, disappointment, rejection, and fear. The old story is the narrative you've repeated to yourself so many times that it's become part of your identity. It's the voice that whispers, "This is just who I am," when in truth, it's only who you've been. That story might have protected you at one point. It may have made sense in the environment you were once in. But if it's keeping you stuck, small, or scared, it's time to let it go. The old story thrives on repetition. It pulls evidence from your past and uses it to limit your future. It tells you that because you failed once, you will always fail. Because someone hurt you, no one can be trusted. Because you were overlooked, you're not worthy of being seen. These stories aren't facts. their wounds dressed as truth, and the longer you hold onto them, the harder it becomes to grow into your potential. Transformation demands a break in that cycle. It begins with questioning what you've always accepted as just the way it is. Letting go of the old story doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means refusing to be defined by it any longer. It means acknowledging the past, feeling the weight of it, and then choosing to write something new. You are not bound to your history. You are not obligated to relive your pain. The past can inform you without imprisoning you. Growth comes when you learn to honor what you've survived without using it as a ceiling. To let go of the old story, you have to become conscious of it. Notice the patterns. When you make excuses, when you self-sabotage, when you expect rejection before it even happens. That's your old story trying to stay alive. But you have the power to rewrite it in real time. Instead of "I'm not good enough," you can choose "I'm still learning, and that's enough." Instead of "nothing ever works out for me," say "I'm creating new outcomes every day." This isn't about blind optimism. It's about reclaiming authorship over your life. The shift begins when you stop arguing for your limitations, when you stop using your pain as proof that you're stuck, when you stop identifying with everything that went wrong and start focusing on everything you're capable of making right. You're not who hurt you. You're not your mistakes. You're not the sum of your lowest moments. You are the person who's still standing, still hoping, still trying, and that resilience is the beginning of a new narrative. Letting go is a daily decision. Sometimes the old story will come knocking again, dressed in old emotions or triggered by familiar situations. But each time you have a choice to repeat the past or to reclaim your future, to stay in a loop or to take the risk of something better. The old story is comfortable because it's known. The new story requires courage because it's unknown. But everything you want lives on the other side of that uncertainty, so tear up the old script. It's time. You've outgrown the role. Write yourself as the main character in a life where growth, peace, love, and purpose are not only possible, they are non-negotiable. Start telling the story of who you are becoming, not who you've been. Let the past be a chapter, not the whole book. You get to begin again as many times as it takes, and this time you're not asking for permission. You're taking your pen back and writing with intention, because your life is yours, and it's time the story reflected that. Resistance is inevitable when you choose to grow. It shows up the moment you take a step beyond what's familiar. It arrives in the form of self-doubt, fear, external criticism, and even the subtle pull of your old habits trying to keep you comfortable. But resistance isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're on the edge of something important. Growth invites resistance because it challenges the patterns that have kept you exactly where you are. Most people interpret resistance as a signal to stop. They mistake discomfort for danger and unfamiliarity for failure. But the truth is, growth will never feel safe at first. It threatens the status quo. It disrupts routine. It demands vulnerability, discipline, and courage. So when resistance shows up, it's not the enemy. It's the confirmation that you're walking into new territory. Sometimes the resistance is internal. It's that inner voice that whispers, "You're not ready. Who do you think you are? Or what if you fail?" These thoughts are echoes of your conditioning, born from past experiences where you may have been told to shrink, stay quiet, or not take up too much space. But growth happens when you talk back to that voice. When you say, "I may not feel ready, but I'm going anyway." The goal is not to eliminate fear. The goal is to stop letting it make your decisions. External resistance is just as real. Not everyone will understand your journey. When you start to change, you may make others uncomfortable because your evolution shines a light on their stagnation. People might project their insecurities onto you, try to pull you back, or question your motives. But it's not your job to make others comfortable with your growth. It's your job to honor your own expansion, even when it isolates you. Not everyone can come with you, and that's okay. There will also be resistance in the form of setbacks. Days when nothing seems to work, when motivation disappears, when old habits feel stronger than your new intentions, these are the days that matter most, because showing up on hard days is what separates transformation from wishful thinking. It's easy to grow when everything is flowing, but the real shift happens when you choose to grow in the chaos, in the discomfort, in the silence where applause doesn't exist yet. The key is to stop being surprised by resistance. Expect it, prepare for it. Train yourself to see it as part of the path, not a detour. Like weight to a muscle, resistance is what makes you stronger. It builds your capacity to handle more, to stay steady in uncertainty, and to keep moving even when the path isn't clear. Every time you push through it, you reinforce a deeper truth, that you are no longer governed by fear or convenience. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in the small, private choices to keep going, to have the hard conversation, to wake up early and work on your dream, to say no to what drains you and yes to what stretches you. Each of these decisions may meet resistance, but each one is also a step forward. So let resistance be your signal, not your stop sign. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it teach you resilience. Let it remind you that if you weren't capable, you wouldn't feel the tension in the first place. You're growing because you're ready, and readiness doesn't mean having no fear. It means having more belief than fear. No great life was ever built without resistance. It's the companion of every breakthrough. Expect it, face it, and grow anyway, because everything you're becoming is worth it. Creating space for the new is not just about adding more to your life. It's about making room. It's about clearing out what no longer aligns so that something better has a place to arrive. Too often, people chase new beginnings while still clinging to the old beliefs, habits, relationships, routines, and cluttered mental noise that quietly takes up emotional and spiritual real estate. But transformation doesn't happen by addition alone. It happens by subtraction first. When you hold on to everything, you block growth. It's like trying to plant fresh seeds in a garden full of weeds. You can't force new outcomes into a space that's already full of things that don't serve your evolution. Creating space requires intentional letting go. It requires the courage to release what's comfortable but stagnant, familiar but limiting. It's not always easy, but it's always necessary. This process starts internally. You begin by observing your thoughts. What beliefs keep running on autopilot? Are you carrying shame from past decisions, or fear that you're not good enough? Are you holding tightly to stories that no longer reflect who you're becoming? These mental narratives shape your reality. If they're outdated, they must go. You can't welcome a confident, purpose-driven life if your inner dialogue is still stuck in self-doubt. You have to clear the old stories to make room for new truths. Then there's emotional space. We often store unresolved emotions without realizing it. Resentments, regrets, guilt, heartbreak. They all occupy room in your psyche. These emotions act like background noise, draining your energy. Creating space emotionally means processing your pain instead of suppressing it. It means forgiving, not to excuse others, but to unchain yourself from the weight of what they did. It means allowing yourself to grieve what didn't go as planned and still choosing to move forward. Physically, your environment matters too. The spaces you live and work in reflect your mental state. A cluttered space often mirrors a cluttered mind. Simplifying your surroundings can have a profound effect on your clarity, focus, and mood. Every item you choose to keep or release is a decision about the energy you want around you. When your outer world is aligned with your inner intentions, it becomes easier to show up for the life you want to create. Relationships are another key area. Who you surround yourself with either supports your evolution or subtly sabotages it. Sometimes, creating space means setting boundaries. Other times, it means letting go of connections that feel forced, draining, or one-sided. You're not being cruel. You're honoring your growth. Not everyone is meant to stay for every chapter. Some people represent a version of you that you've outgrown. That's not failure, it's maturity. Creating space also means slowing down. In a world obsessed with speed and productivity, making room for reflection, rest, and stillness can feel radical. But it's in the quiet moments that insight arises. It's when you pause that you realize what you truly need. The next direction becomes clear not in the chaos, but in the calm you create intentionally. Silence is not empty, it's full of potential. As you create space for the new, you also create space for yourself, to dream again, to listen to your instincts, to explore what truly lights you up. It's not just about what you let go of, but who you become in the absence of what once weighed you down. Growth needs breathing room. Expansion needs openness, and the life you want is waiting for you to make space for it. So clear the clutter emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Release what's been. Trust what's to come. Creating space is not about loss. It's about opening the door to more. More clarity, more peace, more alignment, and more purpose. It's the foundation of a new beginning. When people imagine change, they often picture massive leaps, dramatic overhauls, and lightning. Speed progress, but the real transformation doesn't happen in loud, flashy moments. It happens quietly, in small, consistent actions repeated daily, especially when no one is watching. This is where true growth lies, in the mundane, unglamorous choices that compound over time into extraordinary results. Taking small, consistent action means letting go of the idea that you need to feel motivated every day. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what carries you forward. It's about brushing aside the myth that success arrives all at once. Success, fulfillment, and progress are built brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision. Each step may feel small, almost insignificant on its own, but when repeated with intention, those steps lead you to places you never thought possible. Consider this: you don't get fit by going to the gym once and crushing a 3-hour workout. You get fit by showing up consistently, even if it's for just 20 minutes a day. You don't become an expert overnight. You become one by dedicating time every day to learn, practice, and refine. Writing a book, starting a business, changing your mindset. It all starts with a single action repeated until it becomes a part of who you are. Small actions are powerful because they are sustainable. They don't rely on bursts of energy or sudden inspiration. They rely on your willingness to keep showing up. They give you a clear path forward on days when everything feels overwhelming. If the goal is too big, it can paralyze you. But if you break it down into something you can do today, no matter how small, you create momentum, and momentum is everything. A single page written every day becomes a book. A single conversation a day deepens relationship. One healthy meal at a time rewires your habits. Nothing is too small when it's done consistently. Taking small, consistent action also rewires your identity. Every time you choose to follow through on something, no matter how minor, you send a message to yourself: I can be trusted. This builds self-respect. It builds internal strength. The more you show up for yourself, the more your self-image evolves. You start seeing yourself not as someone who procrastinates or gives up, but as someone who follows through. That subtle shift changes everything. There's also a hidden resilience that comes with this approach. Life will throw challenges your way. There will be days when everything feels like it's working against you. But when you're in the habit of showing up consistently, you're not relying on ideal conditions. You've trained yourself to act despite resistance, and that's where confidence is born. Real confidence doesn't come from comfort. It comes from showing yourself that you'll keep going no matter what. Progress isn't always visible in the beginning. You won't always see the payoff right away, but that doesn't mean it isn't working. Think of planting a seed. It takes time to break through the soil, but growth is happening beneath the surface. The same is true of the small things you commit to each day. They are planting roots. They are shaping the foundation of your future. And eventually, that quiet discipline will produce loud results. So don't underestimate the power of one small action. Don't wait for the perfect moment, or the ideal mindset, or some grand opportunity. Start now, where you are with what you have. Pick one thing you can do today that nudges you forward. Then do it again tomorrow, and the next day. This is how change becomes permanent. This is how ordinary efforts turn into extraordinary outcomes. Small steps daily, that's the formula. Trusting in your own experience and inner strength is one of the most powerful foundations you can build for yourself. Life continuously tests us, presenting challenges, uncertainties, and moments where doubt creeps in. In these moments, the voice inside your head might tell you that you're not ready, that you don't know enough, or that you should seek validation from others before moving forward. But the truth is your experience, the lessons you've learned from past successes and failures, and the inner strength you have cultivated over time are your most reliable guides. They are what keep you grounded and capable, even when the path ahead feels unclear. Experience isn't just about the big, obvious achievements. It's also the small decisions you've made daily, the struggles you've endured, the mistakes you've reflected on, and the wisdom you've gained along the way. Each of these moments adds to your internal reservoir of knowledge and resilience. When you trust in your experience, you acknowledge that you have already survived difficult times and emerged stronger. This recognition builds confidence that you can handle whatever comes next. It quiets the fear of the unknown because you know that even if you stumble, you have the capacity to learn, adapt, and grow. Inner strength is deeply connected to this trust and experience. It's the quiet power that keeps you moving forward when external motivation fades. It's the determination to stand firm in your values and choices, even when others question or doubt you. Inner strength is not about being unbreakable. It's about being flexible enough to bend without snapping, resilient enough to get back up after falling, and patient enough to keep going when progress feels slow. It is a muscle that strengthens every time you choose to trust yourself instead of seeking constant reassurance. Many people underestimate how much power they already hold within. Instead, they look outward, searching for approval, guidance, or shortcuts to success. But the most profound growth happens when you turn inward. When you learn to listen to your own instincts and honor your past experiences, you start making decisions that align with your authentic self. This alignment brings peace of mind and clarity, because you're no longer swayed by the noise of external opinions or comparisons. You create a strong internal compass that points you toward what truly matters. Trusting your experience and inner strength also means accepting your imperfections and past mistakes as valuable parts of your journey. Often, people fear that admitting they've been wrong or faced setbacks makes them weak. The opposite is true. It takes courage to face your shortcomings honestly and use them as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Every failure is an opportunity to deepen your self-awareness and sharpen your ability to navigate life's complexities. When you embrace this mindset, you become your own teacher and advocate. In practical terms, trusting yourself translates to taking action even when certainty is absent. It means acknowledging that you may not have all the answers, but you have enough knowledge and strength to start and adjust as you go. Waiting for the perfect moment or for external validation only delays your growth. Your experience equips you to handle unexpected twists and turns. Your inner strength provides the stamina to persevere through discomfort and doubt. Together, they form a reliable foundation for any endeavor you choose to pursue. This trust also encourages you to set healthy boundaries and say no when necessary. When you believe in your own worth and capabilities, you don't feel the need to please everyone or overextend yourself. You protect your energy and focus on what aligns with your goals and values. This self-respect nurtures your inner strength further, creating a positive cycle of confidence and empowerment. Trusting in your experience and inner strength is an ongoing practice. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a commitment to learning from life as it unfolds. The more you lean into this trust, the more you realize that you are enough just as you are. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Your journey, your resilience, and your ability to rise after setbacks are proof enough. With this trust, you become unstoppable. You become someone who faces life not with hesitation, but with quiet confidence and unwavering resolve. Trusting in your experience and inner strength is the key to unlocking your true potential. It empowers you to face life's challenges with confidence, resilience, and grace. When you believe in yourself, you no longer wait for permission or seek constant approval, because you understand that everything you need to succeed is already within you. This trust becomes the foundation for lasting growth, peace, and fulfillment. Embrace your journey, honor your wisdom, and move forward knowing that your inner strength will carry you through every obstacle and toward the life you truly deserve.